Did you know that every year Americans spend nearly $220 billion growing, processing, and transporting over 60 million tons of food that's never eaten? We're wasting 400 pounds of food per person, while 1 in 7 Americans is at risk of going hungry. On farms, fruits and vegetables are left in the dirt because they're not visually perfect. In restaurants and grocery stores, extra food is purchased just to keep buffets and shelves looking full before being tossed. And in homes, confusing expiration dates lead families to pour perfectly good milk down the drain. If all this wasted food were grown in one place, this mega farm would cover over 3/4 of California. Growing this food consumes over 20% of our national water supply, and once it ends up in a landfill, it's a major contributor to climate change. Well, it's time for a solution. A national study by ReFed, a multi-stakeholder nonprofit committed to reducing U.S. food waste, reveals huge financial, social, and environmental opportunities hiding under all this waste. ReFed's roadmap shows how we can take steps now to reduce food waste by 20% nationwide, reaping benefits of over $100 billion. All of the solutions fit into the broad categories of prevention, recovery, and recycling. Prevention means avoiding food waste from ever happening through solutions like standardized date labeling, consumer education, smaller plates in restaurants, and trayless dining at buffets. These will allow us to buy what we need, store it efficiently, and keep from throwing out perfectly good food, saving businesses and families $8 billion a year. Recovery means we can save unsold food and encourage food bank donations through effective policy, tax incentives, and business education, which will double the meals donated to families in need each year. Some food scraps are inevitable, but recycling allows us to turn them into a valuable resource through composting and anaerobic digestion, which will produce an additional 2 million tons of compost annually, as well as a reliable source of energy for cities and trucks. Solving the food waste problem will require our commitment to 4 paths of action: new financing to scale proven solutions, common sense policy change, adopting of emerging innovations, and consumer and employee education. To learn more about how to cut waste, boost the economy, reduce hunger, and help the environment, get involved and visit refed.com today.
FoodLink is a community organization based in Arlington, Massachusetts that rescues fresh food, alleviates hunger, and contributes to environmental sustainability. FoodLink serves people in need in Arlington and the surrounding communities. We partner with 12 local grocery and prepared food stores to bring high-quality fresh fruits, vegetables, meat, dairy, bread, and prepared foods to more than 30 social service agencies. Beneficiary groups include after-school programs, low-income housing facilities, programs for at-risk youth, homeless shelters, food pantries, and senior centers. The organization is powered by more than 100 volunteers.
We collect food from about 13 different grocery stores and prepared food stores in the area. So all that ends up being about 1,000 pounds a day. And then we distribute it to 32 social service agencies, and Julie talked about some of them. And then that means that about 5,000 people every month receive food from FoodLink. So it's amazing operation that wouldn't function without all the volunteers doing their work. So you can see some of the impact. So here's some people from Drake Village, and some of them are actually in the audience. Do you guys want to raise your hands? They run a food pantry, and they help us unload boxes every day and set it up for the other patrons. And then we also have some fruits and vegetables that were cut up for the Tierney Learning Center. It's an after-school program in South Boston, and they like the food that we're able to provide them so much that they drive from South Boston to come and get it. And we've also been able to increase the number of pounds of food that we collect every year. You can see it keeps growing, and this year we're on track to collect about 375,000 pounds of food. And we are a nonprofit, and we've been growing a lot this year. And people often wonder how we're able to kind of fund what we do. And a lot of it is due to very generous donors. We have a lot of grants, and the fundraisers that we've done this year have also been really successful. So thank you all for your participation in that. And here's Julie and Levi at Whole Foods. We had a 5% day where they donated 5% of their proceeds to us. So that was really very generous and a fantastic event.
Different people work, or I should say volunteer, but it's work, different days of the week. And different days of the week, we go to different places. So even though we pick up at Trader Joe's and Whole Foods and Panera every day of the week, we take things to different places. So if you work on Monday, you may have no clue where the people take food on Tuesday. Every box you see here represents a place that we deliver food throughout the week. Some places receive it once a week, some places receive it 2 times a week, and a few places 3 times a week. You'll see that the Arlington Senior Center, Minuteman Senior Services here, our building, the building we're in. We bring bread and produce almost 5 days a week, always bread, sometimes produce, and anybody who walks in the door is welcome to take something with them. Jermaine Lawrence is just up in Arlington Heights. We take bagels there every Tuesday morning for all the students to have as they please. The Arlington Housing Authority, you'll see a few different places, Cusack, Drake, Chestnut, and Menotomy Manor. We go there multiple times a week because they're larger communities with a lot more people. And they set up pantries within their housing authority so that the residents can come in and take the food in a very equitable manner. So not only are all of these places receiving food from us, but if you add all these boxes back up and maybe put another 10 in, it will fill our beautiful van. It holds about 70 banana boxes.
Hi, I work at Housing Families. We are an agency in Malden that works with homeless families or families who are at risk of being homeless. I work at our after-school program, which is a therapeutic after-school program. So the kids, they get one-on-one counseling, they get group therapy, and they get tutoring. And while they're with us, each hour that they come, they get a snack. And we try to do healthy snacks because a lot of our families don't have the resources to do healthy foods at home. So usually we are spending about $300 a month on food for snacks for about 80 children that come to our program. And this year, because we have FoodLink that has helped us, we have spent, I think, $500 so far for the whole year. So from September until now, we've only spent about $500, which is huge for us because we do have to decide, what are we buying? It's got to be on sale. It has to be something we can buy in bulk. And now we get all of this wonderful food for our kids to be able to try. When FoodLink started coming, we all got really excited. Every week that we have Janet come and donate and drop off the food, all of the staff run into the kitchen to find out, okay, what do we have this week? And at first, the kids were kind of skeptical, and they started to see the sell-by dates and things like that, so we started taking it out, and now the kids are so excited. Every week, they want to know, okay, what do we have? What's new? What can we try? They get foods that we weren't able to buy because if they didn't try it, then it would go to waste, where now if we have it from FoodLink, they're able to try it and also have a snack on top of that. So they're trying all kinds of new foods. These are all of our kids. We tried to make it fun. We made some faces with some of the foods as well so that they could eat them that way. So the foods that we get fruits and vegetables, which are really big. The kids get as many vegetables as they want when they're with us, so there's no cap on those. They get fruit, they get a protein, and they get some kind of healthy carb as well. So those are their choices of foods that they get. The other thing that we do is we do parenting groups. So we have therapeutic parent groups for our families because we find that homelessness is a generational problem. And so if the parents aren't learning on how to make themselves better, they're not able to help their kids get better. So for our parenting groups, we do meals as well. So that helps the parents to be able to come after the program is done with their kids get to have a healthy meal, the parents get to have a healthy meal, and then if there's leftovers, they get to take it home with them. So it's a really good way for them to have some healthy food for their kids and them, and to bring it home as well. So some things that our kids have said about the food is, ooh, this is weird, but I'm going to try it, which has never happened before. They will say, wait, why don't we have more of that this week? That was awesome. We have a yogurt maker, which now they're making yogurt out of the milk that we get, because we get a lot of milk, but not all of them are into the milk, but they're into yogurt. So they're starting to do that. We have done science experiments. So the eggs, we have talked about acids with vinegar, and we have made our eggs naked. We've also made rock eggs, so we've made crystallized, so we use them for science projects, which we wouldn't be able to do before. So we do all kinds of stuff with this food, so none of it goes to waste. So if we know, okay, the eggs are starting to be a little stinky, we just do some stuff with that the kids can benefit from it as well. And the eggs are huge. Our kids eat eggs with hot sauce, hard-boiled eggs. And so for us to have eggs every week for them, they love that. So these are all the wonderful benefits we have this year, and it's been wonderful for us and great, and we can't wait to keep the partnership going.
We work very closely with FoodLink. We couldn't do what we do without them. As many of you may know, we share space. FoodLink runs their operation out of the Arlington Food Pantry on Broadway, and they supply us with 3,000 to 5,000 pounds worth of food every month for the food pantry. Because of FoodLink, we're able to give out things like fresh produce, bread, dairy products, eggs, meat, and prior to our partnership with FoodLink, we weren't able to provide those food options for our shoppers. So we're so grateful for FoodLink and all they do for not only the Arlington Food Pantry, but 30 other social service agencies around the area.
I can tell you that my staff and I use FoodLink on a regular basis for library events, for staff events, and we are so happy to link with them and support the organization. I think they're great for Arlington, great for the community, and anything I can do ever to support FoodLink, I'm happy to do.
We're able to do what we do for 30 cents a pound. So, these boxes, you figure, this one probably weighs about 30 or 40 pounds. So, let's say if it's 40 pounds, if I do my math right, for $12 of operating costs, we're able to deliver that food and make the impact that we're doing. Also, we have this formula. So, for $60, we're able to feed a family of 4, 3 meals a day for 2 weeks, and this is nutritious food. Now, we don't actually, prepare meals, but that's the quantity of food that we're able to do for $60. So, and it's all because of the volunteers. If we were paying staff and all that, we wouldn't be able to do that. But as you can see, we're growing. We do need the infrastructure, and we do have costs.
I've been a volunteer with FoodLink for about 1.5 years. I've had the distinct pleasure of working with an incredible group of people supporting such an important cause and organization. I deliver food to Bunker Hill Community College. Many of the people who attend community college are between jobs, looking for work, or doing 2 or 3 different jobs just to meet ends meet. And so being able to get nutritious foods and breads from FoodLink, I know is critical to Bunker Hill Community College and so many other schools and organizations around the Boston, Arlington, Medford area.
Since I've started, I've got a regular time slot where I pick up from Whole Foods in Arlington once a week, and we bring it to the food pantry and sort it, and it ends up going out to many different places. And I also connected up FoodLink to an organization in Lexington called Let's Eat Together. That's a weekly community dinner. And I'm responsible for procuring the food for that dinner every week that's used by the chefs to feed anywhere from 50 to 100 people every week. When they originally conceived of the dinner, they thought all the food would be purchased from local grocery stores, but through the magic of FoodLink, we've been able to save about 50% to 90% of the value of each meal by rescuing food, including flowers as well, and bringing them to this weekly dinner, which has really been a wonderful thing to see, and rescuing the food and helping the people at Lexi together. So it's been a very fulfilling relationship, and I'm excited to see how much we've grown in the past year and the capability we now have.
What's been most amazing for me is the quantity of high quality food that we're able to recover on a regular basis and then actually distribute to groups within the community that are in need of food. Low-income housing, senior center, a variety of different places. There's an astonishing quantity of food that's moved, very high quality food, and we're getting it into good hands and putting it to good use, which is, I think, a fantastic outcome for the Arlington community. So I'm very proud to be a part of the FoodLink effort.
The Daily Table has a similar mission to FoodLink, but with a different approach. It was founded by Doug Rao, the former president of Trader Joe's.
When I ended up graduating from Trader Joe's 8 years ago and went and did a fellowship at Harvard, I wanted to really study what was at the heart of hunger in America, because I didn't really understand it. And there's a much that, quite frankly, none of us should understand. We shouldn't understand it. We can understand the mechanics of it, but it's really hard to understand how the richest nation in the history of the world in food production can have between 1 out of 6 and 1 out of 7, or maybe it's even 1 out of 8 now, because it has gone down a bit. It's now, I think, down to 42 or 44 million Americans that are food insecure. But how we could have such a large percentage of our population that we're being deemed as hungry. Now, my first big learning, of course, was that hunger in America isn't what I thought it was. It's not a shortage of calories for most of those 42 or 44 million Americans. It's a shortage of nutrients. It's the fact that most of those are working poor, or they're seniors, or on fixed income, et cetera, and they can't afford to eat the foods they should be eating. Fruits and vegetables, good, clean dairy and protein, et cetera. And instead, they're getting plenty of calories, but it's in the form of high sugar, higher sodium, processed, less nutritious foods. So that was my first big learning, is that hunger isn't a shortage of calories, it's a shortage of nutrients, and therefore the answer isn't what I thought it would be. The answer the whole time I was growing up, I'm in my 60s, was hunger meant a shortage of calories. You were hungry, you needed something in your stomach. Turns out that obesity is the face of hunger for most Americans. And as a result, what you need is a healthy meal. That is a lot harder to provide than just calories. And the reason is because our entire food system is gamed against it. The entire food system, pretty much from the Farm Bill on up, subsidizes corn and wheat and creates high fructose corn syrup, et cetera. And it ends up basically being around a pedagogy that came out of the Depression, through the war, when everyone thought that we weren't going to have enough food to provide for the growing population, and therefore we just need to stimulate caloric intake. And we've done a marvelous job at that. What we haven't done such a great job is making nutrients in the foods we should be eating affordable. So the other big learning on my part honestly had to do with something that's just an absolutely universal human need, and that's for dignity. So when I had the chance to have a couple hour-long conversations with Vicky Esquerra, who was the CEO of Feeding America at the time, I was stunned to learn that a percentage of the population, and a high percentage in the 30s, wouldn't use their services. And they wouldn't use them because of pride, because they're ashamed, because they're embarrassed, because there was a stigma. And so Daily Table was designed to try to tackle how do we bring affordable nutrition, fruits and vegetable stuff, in an environment where people can have a dignified shopping experience. So although we may go out and collect, and we also then buy product, so probably 3/4 of what we sell, we went out, we purchased, and 1/4 we collected. And we're just about, I noticed your sign back here, congratulations, you guys, awesome. 1 million pounds of food collected. I think that's phenomenal. We're at about 900,000 ourselves. And then in addition to that, we have a lot of product that we buy. We often buy at a great discount. But we turn around and offer that at deep, deep discounts to a community where they are really struggling to be able to get fruits and vegetables, prepared food. Daily Table sees itself not as a competition to the food bank or to works like what Food Link does, or to any of the organizations that are up here. They're amazing organizations doing phenomenal work. This issue is so big in America that truly we need safety nets and breaking down of silos where we all work together. So we work with Food for Free. We work with Boston Area Gleaners. We work with Greater Boston Food Bank. We both provide product to Food for Free and Greater Boston Food Bank, and we get product. That this is an issue where Daily Table, for instance, acts as a safety net for those that won't go to a food bank, a soup kitchen, or a food pantry. Or even if they do, they don't get enough food to feed them for a month. They can't go every day or every week even oftentimes. You get to come, some depending on each one, sometimes once a month, once every 2 weeks, occasionally once a week. So we're there to help provide that in between with truly affordable nutrition. One of the things that's one of my pet peeves, by the way, is all of us who care about this issue of food waste and making sure it gets reduced for all the environmental reasons you all know about. The fact that, if all the food that's being wasted in the world were its own separate country, it would be the third largest generator of greenhouse gases behind China and the US. So the one thing I say is that who here would like a second helping of food waste? Not too many people find that appetizing. I really think the second thing is that if those of you who've been, and I know, how many in this room are volunteers for Food Link? Awesome. You guys rock. So when it comes to the issue of food being wasted, I think those of you who are volunteering see the quality of what is being picked up that would have gone to a landfill. You know that it is not food waste. Because in the English language, I think waste is then the noun and food is where it came from. So it kind of sounds like a sanitation department should be handling this. What it really is, you take those two words and flip them. So my suggestion to everyone whenever I give talks on this is, let's start calling this wasted food. Yes, there's a small percentage, it really is food waste, but the vast majority of this 30 to 40% of the food that's grown in America that's never consumed is wasted food. Healthy, delicious, excess, nutritious food. And you guys see that? You see what's being done? Tonight we're enjoying much of that. We see that at Daily Table when we go up to the produce market in our truck and pick up there, and every day we'll get pallets of product that are offered to us that were, maybe the avocado was slightly too ripe to ship to a grocer, not ripe enough for guacamole yet, but it wasn't rock hard. The bananas are green on the tips but starting to yellow in the middle, can't ship that to a grocer, etc. Stuff that is astonishing and that is perfectly good product. It's just excess inventory. And if you guys know anything about gleaning and the Boston Area Gleaners, a wonderful organization here, we've been able to work with them for several years now, and it's amazing the fruits and vegetables that are harvested that are right here in our backyard that would have gone to waste, would have laid in rot, so to say, if volunteers hadn't gone out and collect them. So I think that what you guys are doing is phenomenal. I think, unfortunately, one, we need to raise the awareness of the amount of food that's being wasted and what we can do about it to make sure it gets down as close to zero as possible. One of the key things is we need to reduce the amount of food that we're wasting. We need to raise awareness to the fact that it's not acceptable to have 42 million Americans, to have 17 million kids who just lost the genetic lottery, which is why they are not getting the nutrients they need, to have the neurological development oftentimes that they would need, so they won't grow up stunted, that we need to make sure that every American citizen has a nutritious and healthy diet so that we as citizens will be better citizens, we will compete better with the world. If we really want to make America great again and make America first, we can start with a healthy diet, because it's the cheapest form of healthcare, is good nutrition. I think you guys are doing the really important work. And as a partner in arms, down in Dorchester doing something different, but I would say very aligned with what you're doing, I'm very grateful to be with this group of volunteers that devote such time to such an important thing. Thank you so much.
How does FoodLink move 1,000 pounds of food each day, morning and evening? And how does FoodLink connect people with nourishing fruits, vegetables, milk, eggs, meat, bread, and help the environment? With each and every one of you. Without each of you, FoodLink would not exist. Some of you get your workout by sorting and lifting full boxes and crates at Trader Joe's at 7 a.m. or at Whole Foods at 9 a.m. Some of you collect bread at Panera at 10 p.m. and maybe even drive to Bunker Hill at the only time of day that there's no traffic. Some of you set up a small pantry in the community room of your housing complex for the residents of your building to partake. Whether you take bread and produce to the senior center, sandwiches and fruit to veterans, produce to adult and family shelters, pack boxes of yummy fruit and bagels for children programs, or sort and compost the inedibles, it's because of you that FoodLink accomplishes so much. It is with much gratitude that we celebrate each of you tonight, and we thank you.
You can reduce the amount of food that you waste by following these simple tips. Make a grocery list and buy only what you will eat. Buy ugly produce, it tastes just as delicious. Store foods properly for longer shelf life. Move older foods to the front of the refrigerator. Eat leftovers or freeze them to enjoy later. And once you have these down, be sure to educate your friends and family about how they can reduce food waste. Take a stand against hunger by volunteering with FoodLink if you live in or around Arlington. If you'd like to start a similar program in your own community, contact FoodLink today to get started.